Third thing we want to ask for you guys to do to help us during this series is we want for you to tell the story of your heroes. It's too often we sit down with the Bible and we read these stories and we go, oh, that's so cool that God used to do things back in the book of Acts. And we think that God doesn't do things today. And so we want for you to tell your stories of modern day heroes that you've seen in your life in different ways. And so I want to give an example, and I promise you this, I'm not trying to get bonus points. I'm not just doing this because it's Mother's Day. Me and Tammy were having a conversation about a week ago, and I realized something as I had this conversation with her. I realized that Tammy's mother is a brave, heroic person. Let me tell you why Tammy's mother is a brave, heroic person. Okay? So each day we want to each week we're going to have you guys get up and share stories of everyday heroes. Here's a picture of Tammy and her mom there on the side and both our kids. This was Easter several years ago at a beautiful sunset. And Tammy's mom, her name is Glenna. Some of you guys have met Glenna. And Glenna, she's lived in the Dallas area most of her life, and she can't stand the traffic. She can't stand the heat. She just doesn't really care for the culture out there. And she's wanted to move to Colorado for so long. Well, probably about 6 years ago, I guess, she moved up to Colorado and she lived in our basement for a while, and then she lived with Tammy's brother for a while, and she just said, I love living here. She said, I've got to get my own place. And so she found this awesome, beautiful little, I think like 700 square foot cabin up in Bailey, Colorado. And you go up there and it's just nice and cool and it's quiet. And pretty much every time you go up there and you pull in, there's deer in the backyard. And it's just, at nighttime you go out and you're far enough away from Denver that the stars are totally different out there. She loves her quiet little cabin up in Bailey. She loves the different culture here in Colorado, just how it's slower and it's not so materialistic where she's at. She loves those things. But Tammy's mom, Glenna, also loves her kids. Tammy has a sister who is 13 years younger than she is, and Tammy's sister's name is Leslie. And Leslie lives in Kentucky. She lives a long ways away from us, and she lives in Kentucky. And Leslie doesn't have just one child, or two, or three, or four, or five. Leslie just had her sixth child. And Leslie is not even in her 40s yet. So it is very easy to say, Leslie is a little overwhelmed at times. She's put this picture on Facebook a while back, and this was her trying to go get groceries. She realized as she took 3 kids to groceries, she's like, where am I going to put the groceries? There's nowhere to put food in this thing. I got to carry these 3 kids with me. And Leslie, man, she loves her kids, and she's a good mom, but she's overwhelmed, and she's worn out. And so Tammy's mom loves Colorado. Tammy's mom loves her cabin. But Tammy's mom said, I need to go help my daughter. Now here's the thing. If Glenna would have packed up and headed off to Kentucky because she was excited about living in that part of the country, that would be a good move. If Glenna packed up and headed off to Kentucky because she says, oh, I found a house down there that is so cute and so wonderful, and I'm going to move into it, that would have been a smart move. If Glenna would have packed up and known that when I get down there, I've got a job waiting on me, that would have been a great move. Glenna didn't have any of those things. As we helped her pack up her little car, as we helped empty out her cabin that she loves, as she said goodbye to that little place in the mountains, and as she drove over 20 hours to her daughter's house, and as she got out, she said, okay, I need to find a job. I need to find a place to live. I hope there's a church around here that I can be a part of, that I'll enjoy. I hope I can make some friends out here. Glenna's move wasn't a smart move. Glenna's move was a courageous, brave move. Because Glenna wants to help rescue people who are suffering and people who need help. Glenna isn't in the Old Testament. Glenna isn't in the New Testament. Glenna is a human being just like us. And she's one of my everyday spiritual heroes.